My name is Sami Tamimi and we are actually in my kitchen in West London. Today we're gonna do harissa. Harissa goes under a lot of names also in the Middle East. Sometimes they call it namura, sometimes they call it basbouse, and not to be mistaken with the harissa, which is a spicy chili sauce. In Palestine, my cookbook, I wanted to do kind of cakey cake from it. Normally it's a very kind of dense slab of sugar, and I wanted to kind of elevate it a little bit by adding a lot of pistachio into it and raisin agent to make it a little bit more fluffier. The first stage I'm gonna do is the syrup, because the sugar syrup needs to be cooled down when we pour it on the hot cake. I have here water, quite a lot of sugar, but don't forget this cake can feed up to 15 people. I'm turning it on. And at this stage, you don't want to stir it, so just leave it alone, and you don't want any crystallization around the edges. So while the sugar syrup is boiling, I'm gonna do the pistachios. Half of them need to go to here, like that. And the idea here is that you ground them quite fine, so don't worry about over grinding them. And looking for quite a fine kind of pistachios. I'm just gonna put them here in a bowl for now. And then add the rest of the pistachios. And this time I want to do it roughly chopped, so just pulse it. And you're looking for kind of different size pieces. So these we'll leave on the side for now. Now the sugar is starting to boil, so I can gently just mix it with a spoon. And you want to bring it to a quick boil. Now it's been 10 minutes and you can see it's already starting to thicken slightly. I'm gonna add a squeeze of lemon and some rose water. Give it 1 minute more and then switch it off. And now I'm moving to the tin. We have a 20 by 30 tin. I just prepared a bit of butter here to grease it. Okay. This tray I'm just gonna leave here on the side for now. And in the mixer, I'm gonna add the butter, yogurt, sugar, and oil. If you want the full recipes in the video description, start on a slow speed and then increase. And you want it to be well combined. That's fine. And I need 2 eggs. You put 1 egg at a time and just let it mix well. In the past, I used to say that being a pastry chef, it's quite messy and sticky. But nowadays, I enjoy baking a lot more because I get the joy of eating some of the cake. The rest goes always to my neighbors or the friends or whoever kind of willing to take a few pieces. Okay, now in the pistachio, I'm gonna mix the semolina, the coconut baking powder, good pinch of salt, and then a zest of 2 lemons. Just don't go over, with the skin because you want only the yellow bit. In the Middle East, harissa is sold everywhere. And it always kind of reminds me of, after school, you just stop and get this drenched in sugar harissa. Now I'm gonna add all the dried ingredients in here and turn it on. And you don't want to over mix it, so at this stage I'm stopping. It's still kind of half mixed, but I'm gonna finish it with the spatula. Make sure that everything is combined. It's kind of runny-ish mixture. Baking tray here. Just drop in the whole thing here. And just gently spread it out like this. And then just put the towel on the counter and just tap it. It helps to get rid of some of the bubbles and also kind of spreading the cake evenly at the bottom. And we just leave it like this for 10 minutes. So I forgot to add the pistachios on top, but it's not a big issue here. And the idea is just to kind of sprinkle them on top. Don't worry about it being even. It's enough that each slice gets some of the coarse pistachios. And just kind of with my hands help them to get into the batter. I have the oven on 180. It goes for 15 minutes. And then we take it out of the oven and cut it. You can see it's still soft, but the edges are getting brownish. Once it's fully cooked, it will get quite hard and it will break when you start to cut it. This kind of traditional cakes, for example, mamoul, which is another semolina cake, they are always made at home. And it's a kind of nice ritual thing where before I eat, people would kind of sit around and help each other to make these mamoul cookies. So now it goes again into the oven for another 10 minutes. Nicely golden. And at this stage, the syrup is cool and you want to drizzle it on the hot cake. You can do that slowly, and it seems like it's a lot of syrup, but actually the cake will absorb all of it. And you can actually serve some of the syrup on the side and people can just drizzle it on. The traditional texture is normally like this kind of dense semolina cake, but I wanted to make it a little bit more cakey, so the nuts added to it and the coconut and also the baking powder help it to rise slightly. So you get bits that are kind of crunchy and bits that are slightly soggy. It kind of plays on the texture side of the cake. So now it's been an hour and all the syrup, as you can see, it got absorbed and the cake is still crispy on the top. And you know, the first piece is always kind of hard to get out, but then just kind of slowly do it. You can see how it's quite moist at the bottom, but it's quite crispy on the top, and this is what we're looking for, harissa. The flavor is wonderful. I mean, the more you leave it, the better the taste will be. This is so yummy.